Good afternoon, guys. My name is Tionge Mfune. I am one of the founders for Isocraft. So as the Isocraft, we've aimed to deliver to you services that help you with your academics, most importantly, accommodation and the library sections. With the library, we provide you with lecture notes, past papers, basically everything you need to equip yourself for a semester. So we've decided as a company to push it a little bit further. By pushing it a little bit further, we're adding a segment we call predictions. So the goal of this segment is to analyze what you guys have learned and use past papers to predict potential papers that you might find as you tackle your examination. So for today, we're going to start first with the one that's being written tomorrow, which is BS1001. Joining me is our very own director for the library section, Mr. Bright. Afternoon, Mr. Bright.
Good afternoon, sir. Okay, this is an opportunity for me, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
Tell us about yourself first of all, before we get into the analysis of the paper.
Okay, I'm a fifth-year medical student. I've been through pre-med for 2 years. After that, into preclinical and pre-med first 2 years. Then I've done pre-clinical years, which are third year and fourth year. That's in the Faculty of Medicine. Then now I'm doing my clinicals. That's fifth year. I'm in my first year of clinicals. Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to predict the paper? Oh, bear in mind, just a disclaimer, this is not a leakage by any way. It's just us trying to predict basically what the paper might be. It's not a leakage whatsoever. But Mr. Bright, do you think it's possible to predict the paper?
Actually, it's very possible. That's what we've been doing from first year up to where we're at the beginning of the semester or during the semester. You are taught, you're given notes, you go for tutorials and labs, all that. So obviously, you can tell, and from the lectures, there are things they mostly emphasize on. So and also from the tutorial sheets, you can tell, okay, they'll emphasize much on this and this and this and this, and some things just to guide you, like, okay, as you are going, you need to know this, just like that.
Okay, so it being online, does it make it a bit easier or harder to predict? Or what would you say about that?
Okay, it being an online exam, that makes it a bit easier to predict, and like physical.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's all about strategies.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Okay, so talking about strategies, what strategy would you give to someone that is not ready today, they're using today to prepare? What strategy do you tell them? Do they have to study the whole materials before you even predict the paper? Just a bit of advice on strategy that they can use to study.
Okay. For me, I've done both. I've done online exams and physical exams from first year up to where I am right now. That's fifth year. So, in fourth year, when I was writing my fourth year exams, we most had online CAs, continuous assessments. And from there, I can say, okay, I noticed something that you can get something out of it when you strategize. But if you don't strategize, it's all about strategy. That's what
strategy can you use?
Now, this is where we go in. We come in as Isocraft. We want to help people. As Isocraft, what's our goal is to simplify people's lives, especially students, right? Yeah. So, the strategy here is what I've done. I won't really tell you the strategy, but I'll guide you.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want more information, you can just log in or sign up on Isocraft, right? You'll find everything. Everything is there.
Okay. So let's get started. Just give us a brief background of BS1001. What topics are there, and what these guys have covered by now. I don't know if you are acquainted with the information.
Yeah. Since I'm in the library, I have like all the course outlines from first year to seventh year. That's the under medicine, and the faculty of pharmacy, the nursing, and radiography. For now, that's what we have on the system. But okay. The question
Let's deep dive into
BS1001. Let me focus on the. So, question is, how can you
give us an overview, just an overview of BS1001? What topics have been done according to what's on the system, as you've mentioned, and yeah, just a bit of one overview. Then we can go into the analysis later on.
Okay, on that one, let me just go through the topics because I think I have everything for first year, first semester. So under BS1001, these are some of the topics, actually almost everything they've done for semester 1, first year. Yeah, so we have notes, we have for papers, past papers, we have tutorial sheets, but for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a sample of an exam paper and what you are expected to know, which is one of the final exam papers.
Okay, that's nice. I love how you personally designed the system. You've made it a bit efficient. So for those who are with us last semester, our system was a bit different as what can be seen now, thanks to Mr. Bright. So we've organized stuff for you to easily find them, and everything that Mr. Bright is going to discuss about, what he's shown you in this video, is all available on isocraft.com. So just click on isocraft.com, switch the library section, and sign up. So once you sign up, you will of course be charged 10 quarter service charge. This is just for you guys to help us out so that we can be able to do better content for you, produce more better episodes of this, and try to help you better. Back to Mr. Bright. So before we exceed our time limit, let's see, can you please predict for us what do we expect to see in BS1001 tomorrow? Are we expecting essays? Are we expecting multiple choices? What can you say on it? And let's get this show on the road.
Okay, so what we're going to do is on that one, I'll need to tackle both essays and multiple choice so that you go there with the general idea. From what I've experienced, I'm going to give you a strategy on how you can manage to tackle multiple choice and essay questions. So what I've done, I've gone through all the notes, all the slides for all the topics, and I've gone through past papers. That's for BS1001 final exam papers and tutorial sheets. And I noticed one thing.
Okay.
The emphasis from the lectures. Okay. So now, what are those things they've been emphasizing on all those topics? That's what I want to do now. So I've jotted down all the topics, not all, but all the topics that I emphasize, the key ones.
Okay. So in addition to this prepared statement by Mr. Bright will also be available on Isocraft. So you can download it to be an image file, so you can download what he's written down, his personal notes, so you can use them to guide you as he does a prediction. Continue, Mr. Bright.
Yeah, so I'm sure the first topic, one of the first topics was origin of life. So what you need to know under origin of life, you need to know the theories. Theories are so important. No matter what, wherever you go, you'll be asked theories under BS1001. So you know the theories, and you need to know also the scientists who came up with those theories. Example, let me say the theory of spontaneous generation. You need to know what it is and who came up with that some theory. Theory of spontaneous generation, you need to know that.
And then in addition to this, if you're able to also understand the comparison between these theories, they might ask you to compare and contrast, they say, one theory with another. So knowing those key points can also add to an advantage.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that comes up is the taxonomy. You need to know taxonomy. It's always there, no matter what, it's always there in the exam. You need to know taxonomy, the classification of organisms, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so taxonomy refers to things like the kingdom, the classes, should be Mr. Philip, something. There's an acrimony that is used to remember these things. So you just have to know that, okay, the kingdom, family, the genus, the species, and so forth. Knowing this can give an advantage in the paper with regards to the origin of life.
Mm-hmm. The other topic, the next one, is meiosis and mitosis. Under this one, all you need to know mostly is the differences. Know the differences between mitosis and meiosis. Yeah, you need to know the differences. And also, you need to know the differences between prophase in mitosis and prophase in meiosis. Once you know these two, then you're warm and dry, and under mitosis and meiosis.
To add on to that, you could also have to, if you can simply know it, you could think of mitosis as one, meiosis as many. So in mitosis, you find that it's just a division that occurs once. Meiosis has got phases like phase 1 and phase 2. So this is one of the differences that is mentioning to say if you know this, it's easy for you to actually understand and answer questions, especially multiple choice questions. They'll ask you which one has got prophase 2, which one doesn't have prophase 2. So mitosis is one, meiosis has many. If you can remember that, that can also be an advantage.
So we come to is it third or fourth topic?
Third topic.
That's prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Here I'm just giving you the most important. Everything is important. I'm not neglecting other topics or other notes. No, I'm just saying the most important thing there, because sometimes you find that you don't have time.
Yeah. So things that you're guaranteed to see in the paper. So these things are things that you when you look through past papers, you're going to be sure you're going to find them. I think that's what you mean.
Exactly. Okay. So that's prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. You need to know that topic. And on that topic, under that, you need to know the types of cells. Obviously, there are types of cells. These are types of, there are prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. You need to know in details. That's one thing. I also need to know the differences between eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Those are the details I was talking about. So also the common features between them. Because mostly they ask like, what are the differences? Then they'll also ask you like, what are the similarities?
Yeah.
Also maybe the way they behave in different conditions.
Okay, so here, as you can see, I'm also helping out. This is because I'm using the file that Mr. Bright has written down. So again, you can find this on Isograph. We've taken the picture of it and you can use it as a guide. So in addition to this, Mr. Bright has stated to say anatomy of the cell structure is also important. So you'd find that these two cells can be differentiated by the way they look. Prokaryotic cells have cell membranes, eukaryotic cells don't have, my bad. Cells, while eukaryotic cells only have cell membranes. So knowing these key differences, according to Mr. Bright, is going to help you, especially if you add in the fact that there are functional organelles. All this is going to help you in the section of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. You can continue, Mr. Bright.
Okay. Yeah, so the next one will be cell membrane. Cell membrane cell transport. There's this topic called cell membrane cell transport. Okay, everything is more like under cells, but I'm picking up the topics here, the most important
Parts of the topic.
Yeah. So under cell membrane and cell transport, sometimes we have questions like, let me say, what kind of solution should a cell be placed in for it to become analyzed? I'm sure you've seen such. Mostly it's done in the labs.
Yeah.
That's why earlier on I said you do labs, you do tutorial sheets, you do notes, you do past papers. Then from there you can now see that okay. But sometimes find that topics from the labs that you didn't even do in class, they'll bring them in the exam. Then now you start wondering, what's happening? And that's how most students fail. That's why we've come up with this strategy of the library. And okay, this is the whole. Let me not go into details on that. Okay. Just focus on the topic. Yeah.
So I can see from your list under cell membrane and cell transport. So just to clarify, the cell membrane is what we talked about in the eukaryotic cells. So it's the outer layer of everything is responsible for transporting things in and out of the cell. So hence cell membrane and cell transportation. So according to Mr. Bright, he mentions to say diffusion and osmosis is one of the key things that you can look out for. So these two things will definitely not miss out. Am I correct, Mr.?
You're right. You need to know that or that. Then maybe. Okay, let's go to the fifth question. The fifth topic, which is water. Water is so important. Drink water. So this one, you need to know the unique properties of water. You need to know them, whether you like it or yes. You need to know them.
So they might trick you from the paper that I wrote. Is that you find that they would ask you give these properties, but then put them as A, B, C, and D, and ask which one is false. So knowing which ones are actually responsible for water makes it a bit easier. One of the most common ones is a universal solvent, so that one is something that you can remember just in case it does come. So knowing these properties will definitely help you out.
Exactly. Then the sixth topic, or maybe let me not start numbering. Yeah, let me just be going topic. The next one is carbohydrates. We have carbohydrates. What are they? What are carbohydrates? You need to know that. deep in details. Yeah, you need to know which ones are non-reducing sugars, which which carbohydrates which carbohydrates contain both beta 1 to 4 glycosidic bonds, which one contain beta 1 to 6 glycosidic bonds. You need to know all that. That's so important, because if it's that's if you're under multiple choices, they like to differentiate. They need to make sure you know the differences.
Yeah, so the carbohydrates are things like glucose, maltose, lactose. So these ones will basically be rounded off as monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So once you know this, especially what Mr. Bright has emphasized on the bonds themselves, you would find that through the papers that you'll find on isograph, this will be something that will be common amongst them.
And I'm sure I've noticed one thing that I've been talking about the differences and the listing and more like in details, know things in details, because I'm targeting two parts here, multiple choice and essays. So you need to know, once you get hold of all the information, I'm emphasizing on your home and dry.
Especially if it so happens that it's a multiple choice question, from my opinion, just using Mr. Bright's guide, that's if you'll be studying, that is. But yeah, using Mr. Bright's guide and looking at the key points that he's mentioned down, I'm pretty sure you can be home and dry for a multiple choice question examination. Essays, as he has said, will require you digging a little bit more into these topics. But if it's multiple choice, just touch the places that we've mentioned, you should be at least 80% home and dry.
So, under carbohydrates, you need to know what carbohydrates are. You need to know the structures, but not really the structures. But you need to know the structures. I was thinking of the third year in pre-medical, in clinical years. But yeah, I think for first years, better you know the structures to help you.
Especially focusing on the bonds. So which ones have got the 1 to 4 and 1 to 6 bonds? That one is definitely going to come in multiple choice somewhere.
Yeah, exactly what my brother here is saying. You need to know which ones are reducing sugars, which ones have 1 to 4 glycosidic bonds, which one have 1 to 6 glycosidic. You need to know all those corners of the cost structure. I remember doing those structures. They are so important.
Yeah,
They like
I
us.
remember that.
Also, the other thing, you need to know the uses of polysaccharides.
So polysaccharides are things that when you combine them, so they basically contain 3 or more sugars. Poly, 3. Di, 2. Mono, 1. So monosaccharides, glucose, when you combine 2 glucose molecules, you have disaccharides. When you combine 3 of these, you have polysaccharides. So the uses of the polysaccharide is also important.
Polysaccharides like amylose, cellulose, glycogen, all that, peptoglycan, all those things. Yeah. So the next topic.
To interrupt. Also, just to know, as he's mentioned, these ones, the amylose, cellulose, try to also know which sugars make this up. So you might be asked maltose, what is found in maltose, what is found in lactose, and then they'll give you options, and then you'd have to figure out which one is which. So knowing a disaccharide, especially lactose, maltose, fructose, these ones will definitely you find them in your multiple choice. Polysaccharides like cellulose, amylose, these ones just know a bit of what is making them up, what bonds are making them up, and you should be home and dry in terms of the carbohydrates.
The next topic is the lipids. Also the structures. Here now the structures are important. Just like the other topic which are carbohydrates. I was talking about the structures also. Even in lipids, try to know the structures. You can't really memorize them, but at least have an idea of what some structures look like according to the notes you give it. You need to know the functions. You need to know how they like. Sometimes they try to ask clinical questions like, how can you prevent the accumulation of these lipids, which are fats, right, in the body? You need to know that also.
So even though it might be multiple choice, okay, that's from my prediction. Online tests, online exams are normally multiple choice. You might find that they give you a structure. So with lipids, it's that thing where you have a fatty head and 2 tails?
Yeah.
So knowing those key components of lipids can also give an advantage, or just knowing the overall structure. But if you're given a question in multiple choice, you're able to identify it.
Yeah, so we're going to amino acids now. I hope you're taking note of the topics I'm mentioning.
You don't have to worry about that. They'll be able to download it on isograph.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Please continue with that, right?
Okay, so amino acids and proteins. This topic also never misses the exam. So you need to know the processes of the peptide formations, the formations of these amino acids, or maybe also try to know a number, or maybe say 9 or 12.
The 20 essential ones.
Yeah, especially the essential ones. Yeah, amino acids and the proteins. Yeah. So you need to know the importance of these amino acids, importance of proteins. Then we go to nucleic acids. This is another topic, nucleic acid. So nucleic acid, obviously we know there are two types. A human body has two types, right? Which is what? DNA and RNA.
What I noticed from my pre-med course is that they combine these two, amino acids and nucleic acids, because you'd find that in order for you to make a protein, you need an mRNA, basically. That transcribes this into become a protein. So understanding this and how they are working together to form what the protein is, and understanding how DNA is formed with should be the what do you call this? The RNA polymerase, the DNA polymerases. All these enzymes are key in making the DNA structure. So understanding this, understanding the transcription, translation processes will be key. I believe for me that amino acids, nucleic acids, and what is coming on forward, enzymes, is something that you're going to find in bulk as compared to most of the papers we've seen.
Yeah, in short, you know the replication of nucleic acids. You need to know that. So the other topic could be enzymes, know the differences, and know how to define it. What's an enzyme? That's so important. A lot of people make mistakes when defining enzyme. So know the actual definition from your lecture.
And just to add on the nucleic acid parts, knowing the differences between mRNA and DNA, RNA and DNA is also important. If you're able to know the differences between these two, it can also add to the advantage.
Exactly. Then where we ask enzymes.
We're still on enzymes.
Enzymes. So I said you need to know how to define it. You need to know the types of enzymes. You need to know the energy activation of enzymes. You need to know what enzyme cofactors are. All those things, you need to know them. Those are, I think, on enzymes. That's so important. It's better you know those. Then we come on vitamins.
Before you go further, I think on enzymes, even the competitive inhibition, all of those things, how these things come into play. So how can you inhibit the enzyme? Where does it bind to? So I believe just the basic concept of it, the Thomas surface things, if it's a multiple choice question, should be enough, because they might ask you things like what's an allosteric site, or what's a binding site, what's the difference between those two. So if you know these two tiny things on your fingertips, it makes the exam paper a little bit easier.
Yeah, questions like explain the non-competitive inhibitors, how they affect enzyme activity. Test questions mostly come as notes. They come as essays, not notes, as essays. Then we'll have vitamins and minerals. Okay, so the last topic. So far, if you've been following nicely, and obviously there's a PDF on the same site, so you can just go through it. We've put a lot of information on it.
So we're going to call it exam preparation 2021. So
exactly.
It's going to be found under BS1001. So again, isograph.com is a website. Go to isograph.com. You will be required to pay service charge of 10 kwacha per month. So this is just to helping us out. 10 kwacha, guys. It's not that much. So to this, you're going to have access to all the material that you need. So the notes that you've learned throughout the semester, to a sheet that you've done, a few lab manuals here and there, and the content that we've made today with regards to preparing for your examination.
But the last topic, let's not forget. Well, vitamins and minerals. On the vitamins and minerals, what you need to know? You need to know the fat-soluble vitamins. Know the differences. Fat-soluble, fat-insoluble vitamins. And know that this is caused by lack of these vitamins. These some vitamins which are fat-soluble vitamins in the human body. This is so important. When you read about this, you're done.
Especially things like vitamin D, Calcium is
B12.
also important. B12, the B's. Yeah. So once you look at this, so in summary, we're just according to Mr. Bright here, as I was using his prepared material. Number one topic you're looking out for is origin of life. You're going to look out for mitosis, which is cell division. You're going to look out for cells, prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells as well, the cell membrane, the cell transportation, water, carbohydrates. You're going to also have lipids, amino acids, nucleic acids, enzymes, and vitamins. So what we'd like from you guys is that after you've gone through our preparation manual, tell us if we are right or not, if where we missed it off, where we can do better on, especially if it's correct, give us a thumbs up. If what we say actually did come through, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, I know, but yes, do that, and also go to isocraft.com. We've tagged every single material you need to prepare for your exam, including this file under the description of this video. So you'll be able to go directly to our site, but you'll be asked to sign up first and pay a subscription fee of 10 kwacha. All in all, this is the first episode that we're going to do for this. The next one should be for organic chemistry. So if you're taking organic chemistry 2, you should be able to find that preparation available, should be before midnight today. That's it for this segment. You'll find this material that we've been using as a preparation on isocraft.com, so we'll link that in the description below. So if you want to find out more, watch more videos of predictions, just subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to let us know if we are right, where we missed it, and where we might make changes on. In addition to this, the next few videos will be a bit shorter. This one was more of an introduction video, so that's why it was a bit lengthy. It will be mostly presented by Mr. Bright. He's going to be doing the analysis of the papers as he's done here, but he's going to be doing it more of an individual thing to make it a little bit shorter. Thank you so much for your time. We hope that you did enjoy this and it is helpful. If it is, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and once again, thank you for using Isocraft.